I'm going to tie a fly called the Duracell, and it is really good. My name is Cheech. Is that how I start?
Yes.
Okay.
Good job, Cheech.
All right. So the Duracell has been one of our favorite producing nymph patterns in the last couple years, and it uses a CDC collar. We have a link to tie the Duracell, but I've been playing with a little bit different collar technique on this one, so might as well show you how. In the vise, I have the proper way to hold a fire hole 5/16. And I'm going to throw on I believe this is a 3.3 millimeter slotted tungsten bead. So if you take the small end first and just drop it on there, it will thread on nice for you. And then you can flip it around. That way you're not having to hold the hook in your hand as you're trying to thread it on there. So this is a little bit of a looser bead, so I'm going to take some 015 lead or lead-free wire and just put a few wraps here. I'm all fingers right now. Bear with me. So I've got that trimmed off. Now if you see that I've got little tag ends on my lead, if you take something flat and you just kind of mash them down, it can help you. My bead's set. That's the way that should sit on the hook. So now we've got our bead and our lead in there. I'm going to start with red UTC 70 thread, and I'm just going to dress the hook. I lost my coq de leon. Where did my coq de leon go? That ain't right, I apologize. Okay, the original Duracell calls for just regular coq de leon for the tail, but I'm going to kick this one up too because we have Versapacks. This is red. So if you do red darts or any of that kind of stuff, this stuff is money. It's much more translucent than a normal feather. But I'm going to throw it on a Duracell just for because. So on the title you have to put that it's a variation, or we'll get yelled at from Europe.
We'll get sued.
Yeah.
By the city of Europe.
By the city of Europe. Yeah. Isn't that over by Texas somewhere? Okay, so I've got a small clump of those fibers, and I'm going to kind of measure. I like to hold them like across the tail like that, so when my thread hits it, it kind of straightens it out. Anyway, so I want them about that long. I'll do a pinch wrap to place it on top of the hook shank, and I'll just wrap back, and there we've got a tail. So the Duracell has just a red wire body. That's small UTC wire, and the body is made out of brown ice stub. So as the brown ice stub has a lot of kind of purplish hue to it. So I've just wrapped about as thin of a body as I can with ice stub, and I'm going to counter wrap that with the wire. We'll helicopter that off. Alright, so once we're to this point, this is usually when you tie in a piece of CDC for the whatchamacallit, for the collar. But I'm going to use just a very sparse dubbing loop of squirrel to create that. So to do that, I'm going to make a pretty short loop, close that off at the back, and then I'm going to attach just the gator grip tool at the shepherd's loop and grab a clump of this gray squirrel that I have. So I've got fox squirrel and gray squirrel, and I'm just going to pull off very few fibers, like that much, and I'm going to stick that up there right by the bead, and that's all I'm going to use. So I'm going to twist that up, get it nice and twisty, Doesn't look like much at all. Then you can get the little brush tool that Curtis doesn't have. This is the one I was talking about. And you can kind of come in here and brush out some of that under fiber, because as much as you can, you just want to use the guard hairs. So that's created a little soft hackle for it. And I'm just going to do basically one turn. And we'll tie that off. And then just stroke those fibers back. And create a little tiny collar. Anyway, that's the Duracell with the squirrel soft hackle and the Coq de Leon tail. Fish it and catch fish.